couldn't sit up and get out of the bed. So I would sit on the edge of the bed for 10 or 15 minutes before I could stand up. And then I would stand up and make sure I was standing before I took any steps. And it was very slow, and I was very stiff, and the pain was everywhere. It was in my neck, my shoulders, all the way down, you know, to my feet. Everything was deliberate. I didn't do anything I didn't have to do. I didn't make the bed until, you know, I got dressed and I sat down. Then I would get up and go in and maybe make half the bed and then sit down. And with fibromyalgia, you also have fatigue. So you would get up, get dressed, make the bed, have breakfast, and you felt like you needed a nap. So you were not only hurting from pain in your body, you were also fatigued. We had that for over 10 years that I'm aware of. And finally my internist sent me to a rheumatologist who put me on medicines, prescriptions that we all know are not good for you, and anti-inflammatory type drugs. And I was on those to the point where they were no longer keeping up with the pain. And I had been going to Infinite Wellness for a few years. Dr. Johnson didn't realize that I had been diagnosed by the rheumatologist with fibromyalgia. We have known him for over 20 years. And he said, you never mentioned the pain. You never mentioned, you know, any symptoms to me. And I said, oh, I've lived with it for so long, I didn't know that there was anything else. I'd been to the rheumatologist, I'd been on the prescriptions. Very, very skeptical. I told myself I couldn't not try it because I had nothing to lose. The pain was getting worse. As I was aging, it was getting worse. And the rheumatologist had basically said, I'm sorry, there's not a lot else I can do for you. So I thought, we'll go ahead and try this. And I would say I sat on the examining table within 30 minutes of receiving the first dose of drops. The pain was gone, and I kept saying, this can't be true. I don't believe it. And he said, well, go ahead. You know, what I could reach and feel and push my muscles, and the areas I knew that used to ache, they just didn't. It was gone. It was unbelievable. Fabulous, fabulous. Within a month or two of being on the drops, not only was the pain gone, but the fatigue that I suffered was much, much better. And my lifestyle changed. I now could get twice as much done in a day as I used to be able to do. I get up before the alarm goes off because I'm well rested. I don't hurt. And I get up, I get dressed, have breakfast, I'm taking care of grandchildren. The baby is 1.5 years. She's running around, she's climbing, she's very active, and I have no problems. I have no pain, I have no discomfort. And I am taking drops not even every day anymore. I've cut back so much. Usually when it gets colder and damper in the winter here in the south, I will go back and take a dropper full in the morning. And it keeps me going all day, and like I said, it's truly amazing. Now, in a minute, my brother-in-law has come down from New Jersey. He was a retired police officer in New York City. Terrible, terrible fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, came down over a year ago. He's been on the drops. He was to the point of not being able to not go out on his boat. Here he's retired and can't do what he had always hoped. And he is like a cured man. He could not believe it. And talk about someone who was skeptical about taking these drops. Also had a friend fly down from Albany, New York last October who was also on the drops, and the same thing. The muscle aches and pains and the body aches are gone. She can't believe it. So I